Now I'm going to introduce our final keynote speaker to end these 2 days. So Aaron Davis is a thought leader in the area of attitude and how it impacts your professional and personal life. He seeks to encourage people to help do better by stressing the importance of a championship attitude. And so some will say, why is this important? As a fellow person that runs teams, has worked on companies, the attitude and the energy you bring to work every day, or to at least your team's environment, is super, super important. And trying to find better ways to manage that and be a better person in general is always, always important for not only your personal success, but also your professional success. I must also confess, he's a fellow Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln High graduate, where I grew up. I've known Aaron for a very long time. He's just an awesome, awesome person. He's also a former Nebraska football Husker, so do not hold that against him since we are speaking in the Archie Griffith Ballroom. But he should enjoy that. So without further ado, I want to introduce Aaron Davis.
Thanks, you bet. This is really tough for me to see all of this Buckeye stuff. And it's not tough for you because you've been kicking our butts the past number of years. And you're like, yeah, that's just Nebraska, big deal. But walking through here, though, it's really been cool. First of all, I want to thank Bart again for the great job that he's done, and Faye as well. And just our whole AV team. Can we give them a round of applause for all the things they've done throughout the day? Appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much. Some of you noticed I was walking around shaking hands. Some of you had no idea what was going on. You're like, this guy is a very, crazy conference goer. What is he doing? Running for office? What's up? The reason why we're shaking your hands is this why. Is, folks, listen, you are here doing something and giving me something you can't get back, and that's our time. So why not walk around and shake some hands? Some of you looked at me like, okay, stranger danger, where's your name tag? Who are you? You know, first of all, we're gonna call security. I mean, I'm just making hands. What I want you to do right now at your tables, and first of all, those of you that were eating ice cream when I was talking to you, you're wrong. Because I've been avoiding that ice cream like crazy. And if there was somebody who was double fisting over there, I think they had a candy bar and something else. That's all good. Right there. There she goes, right there. She's like, you just gonna tell all my business like that, right? What I want you to do at your tables real fast. You've been through a number of great presentations. You've heard great information. But folks, here's the warning. Information without implementation is insane. What are you gonna do with it? Take copious notes and tweets, Snapchats and all those great things, but what are you going to do with the information? How many of you have left a conference before and you had all these ideas you were going to implement, but failed to do it? I've been there. I am a junkie for information. But folks, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll say this throughout, I am the warning, not the example. I'm the warning, not the example. All of this information, go back and do something with it. Great teams, championship teams, do something with the information. Go out and implement and execute. Because folks, how many have done this before? How many love meetings? I was going to say, there better not be a single hand up in this mug right now. Yes, and how many have been to those meetings where you have those huddles and everybody, there's a meeting for a meeting for a meeting for a meeting? Championship teams, folks, eventually break the huddle. Go out and execute. Get rid of so many meetings and execute. It's hard to be agile when you're always huddled up. In fact, in that football field right over there, where they have just bludgeoned Nebraska before, you can't huddle that long without getting a penalty. You must snap the ball, run the play. What I want you to do real fast at your tables, first of all, look at the person next to you and just smile at them. Don't look at me, just smile at them. I didn't say laugh at him, I said smile at him. There you go. And what you just did right there is therapeutic. How many have had some days to where you laughed to keep your sanity? How many have had some days where you just laughed to stop you from getting an assault charge? You violent technicians, you, I tell you. Yes, there are days when someone says something, you just go, yeah. I'm about to get a case right now. I get it. There are days where laughter keeps you there. How many have had some days when you pulled in to the parking lot and you were looking for a fight that day? How many know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to raise your hands on this one. I mean, you pulled in and you couldn't wait for someone to say something just a little bit off the charts. How many, you walk in, good morning, they go, good morning, you go, morning. There a problem? How many of you have some days where you just don't have it? I get it. But folks, to keep and maintain the attitude of a champion and to spread that to your team, it's an inside job. See, folks, I'm not a rah-rah speaker. I don't like motivational talks. And I mean, when people say motivational speaker, no. Every time I think about motivational speaker, I think about Chris Farley and Saturday Night Live skit. If you haven't seen it, Google it. You got to, YouTube it. You got to see it. It's hilarious. I can't motivate you. I don't know you. For me to say I'm going to get you all fired up, that's great. Then what? Championship teams, folks, is not about motivation. It's about inspiration. At your tables real fast, I want you to, there's two people next to you, you've got people next to you. I want you to say, tell me something good, one thing that's going good. And I want you to smile, because you notice as I walked around, I was smiling, shaking hands with you. Folks, sometimes just a simple smile helps. But I want you to share something that's going good. Because I know as we speak right now, some of you have a lot of things going on. There's fires you've been putting out since you've been here. But there's still something good. In fact, folks, if you can't think of one thing going good, go like this. Now, if there's nothing there, we got a problem. But if nothing else is going good, folks, you woke up this morning, enjoyed this conference. At your table, share one thing with the person next to you that's going well. Have at it. How many of you remember that song, Tell Me Something Good? Remember that song? The millennials are going, I have no idea what you're talking about, bruh. How many remember that song, Tell Me Something Good? Count of three, let's sing it. Let's sing that first part. 1, 2, 3. Tell me something good. You bow, bow, bow. There you go, my man. What's your name, sir? Bill. I like that haircut too, man. Stand up real fast for us, Bill. Give Bill a hand round of applause, man. Yeah. Yeah. Got that going on right there. You got the cue ball and the 8 ball right here, man. We got it. We're rocking it. We're rocking it. Something that's good. First of all, I'm not going to choose volunteers. I'll just have you do it. Somebody just raise your hand. Something good that was shared. Anybody? Something that was good. There should be a lot of folks talking about something. Yes.
Now you're presenting at the conference.
What's your first name, sir? Give Mark a round of applause. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, my man. Something else good over here. Something good. Something good.
My 2 new grandchildren.
That's why you had 2 ice creams, not a girl. Yes. Congrats on the grandchildren. Congrats on that. One more. Something good, somebody. Something good. Something good. Because, folks, here's the thing. We can always find bad stuff, right? Breaking news is never good news, is it? Something good. Yes, ma'am. Going on vacation. Give a round of applause on vacation. Yes. You know what, folks? Champions keep their attitude cleared and from the clutter. Something I used to do in the morning when I first got up, I turn on the news. Big mistake. It's never good news, is it? So then I started watching ESPN. That wasn't good either. It was like, who got arrested last night, you know? You know what I do now for the first 15 minutes? Music. I listen to music, first 15 minutes. Folks, if you want to protect your attitude and those of your team, you must protect your mind. Careful what you let go in this thing. Before that, I was wanting to come here earlier. I was talking to Murph, and my dad's going through a series of things I'm not going to get into right now, but just health-wise. And I was thinking even on the way here, you know what? I'm looking at this campus. It's beautiful outside. It's all we focus our minds on. That's where it starts. That's kind of like sacrilegious to bring my national championship ring to Ohio State's campus. But who cares? I like Ohio State. Honestly, the only team I can't cheer for, anybody from Missouri here? Good. I was getting ready to speak. Missouri Bankers Association. And this is when Missouri was kind of handed it to Nebraska. You know, my last year was in '94 at Nebraska, okay? So I'd never lost to Missouri, ever, okay? And so I'm getting ready to speak for this Bankers Association. And they start showing Missouri highlights against Nebraska. Like all 4 of them, okay? So, I'm just serious. So, they're showing these highlights. And then they start playing the Missouri fight song. And then I'm walking on stage, and the guy's introducing me. Now, I couldn't say anything because I hadn't got my check yet, so I didn't say nothing. I just rolled with it. All right? I get on the podium, and you know this, I rarely stand behind a podium. I took off my national championship ring. I set it down. And I said, I want to introduce the University of Missouri football fans to a foreign object. Man, they did not laugh. My brother barely got out of there, man. But you know what, folks? All of you have your own championships that you want to achieve. What's your championship back at your company? What's your championship back on your team? Folks, we are almost 6 months into the year. Think about that. Think about that for a second. 2018 is almost halfway over. And there's still people doing New Year's resolutions. It's May and it's almost June. What is your championship? What is the attitude you bring to the office every single day? What do they say about you and your attitude? Let's picture my pops. See, champions know their whys. I love Simon Sinek's book on that starts with why. It starts with why. That's my dad. That's my hero. That's my idol. In 1963, my father moved from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Lincoln, Nebraska. Anybody from Pittsburgh here? In Pittsburgh? Any Steelers fans in the house? Yes, indeedy. Yes, I love it. I know Cleveland fans are going, whatever. As if they should talk, all right? My father moved to Nebraska in 1963 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My father made the move because his brother was shot and killed at point blank range. Those of you from Pittsburgh are familiar with Pittsburgh. My father was raised in Homewood, the Hill District. Rough area. My dad's oldest brother was stationed in the military in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he flew back to the funeral to Pittsburgh, and all my dad's buddies told my Uncle Donald, if you don't get Miles Davis, my dad, that man, out of Pittsburgh, that's the next person you're going to put in a box. My father had a 9th grade education. He was illiterate. My mother taught my dad how to read by reading the King James Version Bible. Can you imagine that? And not Clifford the Big Red Dog and see Spot run. But my father knew his why. For 45 plus years, my dad, he cleaned at a place in town called Pegler's in Cisco. And he cleaned another place that me and Murph know about called Weaver's Potato Chip Factory. We ate Weaver's potato chips a lot. That picture is of my dad, and his smile is captivating. That was at the Pittsburgh Steelers game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That was his first pro game last October. And his smile is just infectious. And was also infectious because we beat the Chiefs. All right? My father knew his why. He cleaned that place. At the age of 8 years old, I know how to mop the max floors, knew how to wax them, knew how to mop them. Even now when I'm in the airport, sometimes I find myself going like this if there's a streak on the floor. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? My father never made more than 40 grand. 6 kids. Myself. 4 boys, 2 girls. My dad, my mom, and my father never complained because he knew his why. I took this picture. My dad became a pastor. And my dad is 78 years old. And black pastors do not retire. They just like die preaching. All right? He'll be preaching until he's done. But my father is a strong man of faith, a man of prayer, and says very few words. But when he's in church, he speaks forever. All right? But other than that, my father doesn't say a lot. My father knew his why. About 5 years ago, I'm sitting at lunch with my dad, and I said, Pops, I said, what was your why all those mornings? Those times, you see, Nebraska, like here in Cleveland, it gets cold. There'd be mornings my father would be on his way to work, and that bus would go right by him standing at the bus stop. It's 1964, 65, 66. Blacks and whites were not holding hands, singing Kumbaya when we are the world. I said, Pops, how would you get to work? My dad talks very little, but it's like his voice is like a hybrid between Yoda and Darth Vader. All right? Because he'll say things like this: cold it was. A whooping you're about to get. It's like Yoda. He said, son, every morning I got up, I'd give your mother a kiss on her cheek, and I'd walk into you kids' bedrooms, and I'd tuck you 4 boys in to your bed. 4 boys in one room. Can you imagine the smell in that room? It was then I'd go down the hall and tuck in my princesses, my older sisters. And he goes, every morning I left that house, I knew my why. Do you know yours? Championship teams have a powerful why. If your why is not strong enough, your work habits will show it. Because even when you don't feel like doing it, the why will feel you on. Do you know what, folks? There are days I do not want to get on another airplane. There are days I don't want another bag of pretzels that have been on that plane since the Reagan administration. There are days I don't want to go through security. And so going through security now, you know what? You might as well get dressed after you go through security. Just wear a robe. Even this afternoon when I blaze out of here, I do not want to go and take off my shoes, take off my belt, but you know what? I know why I'm doing it. What is your why? Why did you start that enterprise? Why did you come here? What's your why? Me and Murph were talking back in the green room, and I wanted to be here earlier. But I was on the phone as I was sharing with him a couple hours with my dad. My dad's back is, major pain. And my dad doesn't complain about anything. My why? That wife, those 3 kids, and my pops. See, my why is bigger than any check. My why is bigger than any project. That's my why. Those things are just provide those things. That's not my reason. These are my whys. What is your why? And folks, if your why is strictly on your company, I feel sorry for you. Because I will leave you empty. And championship teams understand that. So picture all of us. Whole fam. Those are my whys. And I'm the baby of the family. And the biggest head and the biggest nose and the baldest head. So picture me and my wife. It's a black and white photo. Some of you don't even get it yet. It's all right. You're like, you can alter the colors. You know where race doesn't matter? Race is something, in the 20 years I've been married to that lady, I have never woke up and been like, who's the white chick? You know where else race doesn't matter? At that stadium over there on game day Saturday. You think anybody worries about what color the quarterback is? 10,000 people over there, Murph? They score. as they did on us like 50 times last year. I left. I'm like, I'm tired of this. And see, I'm not going to go there. I hate Ohio State. No one cares about race then. My quarterback in college, Tommy Frazier, black guy from Bradenton, Florida. Our fullback, Corey Schlesinger, a white guy from a little small town called Duncan, Nebraska. When we beat the Miami Hurricanes in 1994, the national championship game, Tommy Frazier handed the ball off to Corey Schlesinger, huge white guy that played years for the Detroit Lions. He scores, runs over a couple of Hurricanes. No one in Nebraska said, did you just see that? The black guy handed the ball to the white guy. We're making progress. How many Cleveland Cavs fans we got here tonight? This afternoon? Yes. They had their chances last night. Their head coach is one of my good buddies, Teron Lou, went to University of Nebraska with me. He was 2 years younger than me. And Teron Lou was back last year at a game in Nebraska, and we were hanging out. And Teron doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. I mean, he just never has. He was always our driver in college. He never does. But it was like time had just stood still. You know that game, I don't think anybody cares if Kevin Love scores or if LeBron scores, as long as the ball goes through the rim. See, on championship teams, you can care less about race. See, the thing about race, folks, in our country, people say, I hear this quite a bit sometimes. I don't see color. I'm colorblind. If you can't see color, I suggest you go to your eye care doctor. Because I can see color. I know when I go home tonight, there'll be a white lady in my bed. I know that. Folks, our country doesn't have an eyesight problem. We have a heart problem. When we deal with the heart, our country will change. It starts here. It's not about these. I married over my head. Coach Osborne, my former coach in Nebraska, said AD. Everybody calls me AD. Goes, that was the best catch you ever had. You married over your head. I did. Those are my kiddos. How many got kids at home? Raise your hands. How many got little kids? Like, how old, sir? 4 and 2. That's why you're at the conference, huh? It's like, I think it was someone saying until like Saturday or Sunday, say here, right? 4 and 2. It's amazing, isn't it? And think about little kids, folks. And here's the thing about little kids that I love. Keep that curiosity in your businesses, in your enterprises, in your projects, as you write your software. Keep that same curiosity that kids have. Kids think anything is possible. My little kids, when they were that age, they think I could lift up a truck. They seriously thought I could. Keep that curiosity as a kid. I was speaking on a conference in Nebraska. And 90% of my talks are corporate like this, but I also speak at a lot of colleges and high schools still. I'm always going to keep doing it. I love it. When I'm at colleges and high schools, I'm wearing jeans, some sneakers, and a t-shirt. I love it. But I was speaking for this little elementary class. And these kids were like in kindergarten. And you know, kindergartners, they always just sit like this and just go, huh. And they laugh at everything. I could fall off stage and break my nose. They'd be like, dude, I think he's dead. You know? They don't know, they don't have that, you know, they just don't have that filter yet. So I'm shaking hands with all these little kids, and I get to this little red-haired girl, beautiful red girl, and she took my hand, and I shook her hand, and she kissed my hand. I'm like, oh, man. And then she says like this, you don't taste like chocolate. And her teacher goes, oh my gosh, Mr. Davis, I'm terribly sorry. And she was pissed the whole time, because the whole time she was just. But don't you love the innocence and the curiosity that kids have? Keep that. You see what happens as we start getting older, folks? And I share this with a lot of graduations. I've done quite a few of those this year already. I tell them, don't ever settle. Settled waters smell. Settled waters stink. Folks, don't settle. How many got teenagers at home? Raise your hand. Teenagers, yes, that's why you were here as well. Yes. How many have adults, kids, that keep coming back? Yeah. How fast does it go? It goes fast, doesn't it? How many got grandkids? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. It goes quick. It's going fast, isn't it? Because this is when my kids actually like to hang out with me. They enjoyed it then. That little guy right there just finished his freshman year at the University of Nebraska. That's AD, little Aiden. And I still see him as that little kid in the top right. When he was little, had a huge butt, and he walked like this. Huge butt. Huge. I mean, you could set a drink on his butt, all right? Wouldn't spill a drop. And he played football. He was a decent little football player, but his freshman year, he had 2 concussions. I said, you're done. And he was pissed at me for about a month and a half. I said, I didn't care. Now, folks, I don't like football. I love football. But football is not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And the more that hit, it keeps getting hit. I said, no, you're done. I had my boys playing golf and tennis from an early age. So we started playing tennis. He enjoyed it. He also got involved in speech and debate, became an All-American in speech and debate. Scored a 34 in his ACT. I took the test 3 times. My combined scores were not a 34. I'm not joking. And he was mad that he got a 34. I'm like, bruh, ain't like 36 perfect? I'm like, you're good. He had a ton of offers for colleges. Nebraska was one of the best ones, but he really wanted to go out to the East Coast. Georgetown was an option. But after all went down, he chose Nebraska, which I'm very proud of. He's a freshman, just finished his freshman year up. It goes fast. That's when I kicked him out with his box. Kinda. That picture there, it's a picture of my wife giving him a hug a year ago this past fall. And I was like, babe, he's moving down the street. Murph knows Lincoln. I mean, I live on South Lincoln, old South Side. I mean, he's like 10 minutes from the house. But the reason why that I got that picture, because Dad was the one in the truck in tears. What's your why? Champions know their why. What is your why? And does everyone in your company know your why? See, championship teams are championship teams, and they have championship attitudes because they're all on the same page. You can't have a bunch of different reasons. It must be one goal that you line up and say, we all understand it. That's why when I go into companies and their mission statement is like longer than the Constitution, I'm thinking, who actually knows that? They spend thousands of dollars for a consultant to come in and write on a whiteboard and white paper all around the room and then say, this is our mission statement. And the only one who knows the mission statement is the consultant they hired to bring in. No one else knows it. If you don't know your why, if you don't know your mission, it's impossible to be a championship team. And I don't care if you're a team of 2 or 20,000. You all must know the why. Everyone. Folks, I look at this picture here, and there's a lot of guilt that I have too. And I'll get more in that in a bit. But that's a picture in front of his fraternity house. And that was last year, and I knew when I seen that picture, my son will never live at our house again long term, most likely ever again. It's just reality. And you know what, folks? I missed some things. I got a lot of guilt. The song that I heard in college, I thought was one of the craziest songs I ever heard. But when I listened to it when I had kids, it made perfect sense. It's one of my favorite. Cats in a Cradle and a Silver Spoon. And the most powerful stanza in that whole song, in my opinion, is the last verse. As I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, my boy become just like me. You see, folks, there's some stages I should have never got on. I missed some things. When you start forgetting the why, that brings a lot of guilt. Don't forget the why. That's both of my boys. My mom would always say, the days go slow, but the years go fast. That one on the right, I'm not sure what all this is. I'll never forget coming home one time and giving him a bath, and I had to, just had my tie on still, and just got home and sat on the edge of the tub, and I lifted up that chin, and a piece of broccoli fell out from underneath there. I guess he was saving it for later. But this guy here graduates on Sunday. He's got a lot of hair. Keenan is a very gifted artist. Keenan was the more talented athlete. Keenan got burned out of football about 8th grade. He says, Pops, he goes, I'm going to play soccer. I said, cool. And his football coaches couldn't understand how I would let him quit playing football. They're like, you want to let him quit? I said, yeah. I said, because you know why? I don't live vicariously through my kids. The problem with youth sports today is not the kids. It's the parents and the coaches. The kids are just doing what they want to do. I said, yeah, go play. Keenan is a very gifted artist, though. Does commissioned pieces. There are days he makes like good money. But he loves it. He's going to the university on a scholarship. He'll major in art and business. But the dude is very gifted. These are my whys. 13 years ago, I had a daughter. And I'll bring her up a little bit. But never forget their whys. How many dads here got daughters? Yeah, I know Murph. 2, don't you? Yeah, well, I knew when I had a daughter, good chance I'm going to prison. Yeah. What's your why? At your table real quick, I want you to take 30 seconds, share the person next to you what your why is. Share your why. Quick. What's your why? Have at it. Anybody care to share? What's your why? What's your why? Anybody? Can I get 1 or 2 real loud? What's your why? Anybody? What's your why? Yes. Siblings. That's a hand clapper right there. Because when I was your age, that sure as heck wasn't mine. I love that. Championship teams also thank their left tackles. There's a reason why that left tackle, Villanueva, because I know I'm chopping his name up, plays for the Steelers, only NFL team that really matters, and he plays for the Steelers. Left tackle. There's a reason why. Thanks, Murph. There's a reason why those tackles made so much money. I need a couple. Sir, what's your name, sir? Adam, will you help me out, sir? Come on up, Adam. Give me a hand clap. Come on up, Adam. Come on up. Big guy in the blue polo shirt. Yes. What's your first name, sir? Ray, come on up. Give Ray a round of applause. Come on up, Ray. Appreciate you, man. Brother, how you doing, man? All right. Let's see here. Ma'am, in the black right there. What's your first name? Right there. No, I'm looking right at you. Just turned your head when I'm looking right at you. You're like, no, he ain't looking at me. Yes, what's your name? Luna, would you help me out? That's okay. Can I get a man, will you help me out? Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Come on up. Thank you. Give a round of applause. I appreciate it. Let's see. My man, will you help me out again, brother? Sure. Appreciate it. Give him a round of applause. Come on up, my man. Come on up. Now, we're going to want a quick play here. There you go, brother. I got you, man. Come on up here. There you go. You bet. We're going to want a quick play here. And first name is Ray, right? Ray, what company with, sir?
Nationwide.
Nationwide is always on your side, baby, right? That's right. And Bill, what company with, sir?
Improving.
Improving, absolutely. And then Adam, what company? Lakeshore Cryotonics. You bet. Look at that beard. I like that. And what's your first name?
Kim.
Kim, what company?
OCLC.
OCLC. Let's give them all a round of applause. Appreciate you. Now, Adam, I'm going to have you play my center. All right? Gives right here, big guy center. Now, Adam, center, man, I just want you here, and I want you to show us your mean face, man. I like that. I mean, just, I like that. You're going to be right here, my left guard, right here. And right here, you're going to be the defensive end right here. All right, defensive end. Okay. Yeah, you're going to be on this side of the ball, though. There you go. That's right. It's a lot better. And right here, you're going to be my left tackle. Okay. Let's slide this whole line all the way down a little bit right here. Okay, let me ask you this, folks. How often does the center get interviewed after a football game? Never. How about the left guard? Left tackle? Nope. The quarterback? Yep. In my opinion, the most talented person on the football field, though, is that right defensive end. Why? Those defensive ends, 6'3" to 6'5", 240 to 260, and that's not the scary part. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Right? You know the scary part about those defensive ends? It's not the size. It's the speed. A man that big that can run 4.4 to 4.6 will hurt you. And people said I was fast. I was scared. You have somebody 6'6", 260 chasing you, you too will run. All right? So we're going to run a quick play here, all right? Now, at the snap of the ball, I want you to just go bang, all right? So we'll just bang. There you go. Ray, left guard. Just be right. Left guard, just like this. Just mean, man. Just mean, all right? My defensive ends, you're going to stand just like this. Put your knee right here, just like that. There you go. That a girl. But watch the game because you'll get pushed over. That a girl. There you go. You're going to be blocking Bill, all right? Bill, take her out. No, I'm joking. No. I want you to block him for half a second and then let him get by. And you're just going to come wrap me up. Don't hit me, just wrap me up. All right. All right, ready? Here we go. Let's go. Let's get this going to go. Hi, there's a snap right there. Any day, man. There we go. Now, yeah. Hold me. There we go. There you go. This is not a good position for the quarterback to be in, is it? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Quarterbacks don't last long when they take a lot of hits like this. I tell you who else doesn't last long. That left tackle doesn't last long when they take hits like that. I'll tell you more in a sec. Give them all a round of applause. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, the left tackle. Why do they make so much money? Most quarterbacks in the pros are right-handed. They call that the blind side, hence the movie. Quarterbacks don't look as quick or as well to that blind side. That's why left tackles make so much money, because they're protecting the blind side of the guy who makes the most money most times. Who are your left tackles? Who's that person back at the office that's indispensable? Who's that person that helps you keep your sanity? Who are those persons that if you didn't have them on your team, you'd be getting blindsided daily? Championship teams thank and appreciate their left tackles. You know that person that never gets any of the notoriety, doesn't give a lot of attention, and most times they don't want the attention. But if you take their role away, you feel it immediately. How often do you tell them thank you? Who are your left tackles? People don't leave usually for more money. They leave for a lack of appreciation. And some of you know that firsthand because some of you may have left other companies or other positions or other startups because you didn't feel appreciated. It's not always about the money. You know what me and my business partners have found out with our little software company? It's called AMPT, A-M-P-T. And what we do at AMPT is employee recognition and engagement software. Now, I don't know how to write code, but our programmers know how to write code. And what we have found out from a lot of our surveys, and we interview companies who want to use our platform, they say, you know what, we have to find ways to show our people we appreciate them and do it in a timely and meaningful manner. Folks, if someone does a great job in June, but you don't tell them until the Christmas party in December, it's no longer timely and it's no longer as meaningful. We can show appreciation to our left tackles every day. Sometimes it's a quick call. Hey, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but thank you for what you do. And be specific about it. What did they do? In order for true appreciation of your left tackles to be authentic, we tell all of our clients, it's got to be timely and it's got to be meaningful. Who are your left tackles? And how often do you tell them you appreciate what they do? Don't make it a once a month thing. Make it as often as possible. I'm not going to beat these up, but I want you to think about it. Every Sunday night, folks, I do a session called Review and Preview. I look back over my goals. I look back over how disciplined I was. Was I resilient when problems came up? But most importantly, the bedrock, what was my attitude towards it? Championship teams are not afraid of the game tape. Meaning, go back and look at your week. Go back and look at those projects. How can we improve? Championship teams are constantly looking how they can improve. That's not a once-a-year thing. See, that's why I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. That's a lifestyle for me. And no, I'm not perfect with all of it. But I know New Year's resolutions rarely work. Why? Because at the gym, about January 19th or 20th, it's back to business as usual. The first 3 weeks, you can't find a parking spot. I don't believe in resolutions. I do this every Sunday, and it's called my review and preview. I look at the goals. How disciplined was I? How did I show resilience? Was my attitude kept positive? And folks, I'll tell you this about a positive attitude. If you have some teammates on your team that are negative, here's one thing I've always believed in. Hire slow, fire fast. How many of you ever worked with somebody that every time they walked in is like the theme song from The Young and the Restless followed them? Because it's always drama. And they say things like this: you're never going to believe what happened. I bet you I will. Just constantly filled with drama. Folks, hire slow, fire fast. How many of you have ever hired somebody and then 2 weeks later you're going, what happened? Where'd he come from? Because they are nothing like they were during the interview. How many know what I'm talking about? Say amen. Yes, you're thinking, what happened to that young lady, that young man I introduced just a month ago? Where'd he go? Folks, I'm telling you about those negative people. If you keep someone on your team with a negative attitude, I'm talking about constant, they are also great recruiters. And they will undermine everything you're trying to do. It's not mean to get someone off your team with a negative attitude. It's mean to the people on your team who like being on the team, and you allow this person to stay. That's what's mean. And then you lose the good ones because they're tired of dealing with that one. Hire slow, fire fast. Review, preview. I love this quote about change, because see, championship teams aren't afraid to change. General Shinsky says it like this. I love it. If you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. How many grew up with this right here? Some of you have no idea what it is. Some of you going, man, it looks like a tire changer or something like that. Record player, what was your favorite, some of your favorite groups to put on? Shout them out. Michael Jackson. Yes, who else? Stray Cats. Who else? Elvis. Prince. I was at Paisley Park about 3 weeks ago. Still blows me away that he's not here. It's just shocking. But then we changed again. What did we change to next? Remember sometimes that button didn't work? If track 7 was your favorite, 1 through 6 kind of grew on you, didn't it? There's a reason why. If you're over 35 years old, you know a lot of songs. Right? We know a lot of songs. And then we changed again. See, championship teams, folks, aren't afraid to change. Now, they don't change for the sake of changing, but they understand sometimes change is deemed necessary. What are some changes that you can make? See, folks, I want you to think about one change. Just one, not 5 or 6. But I want you to think about right now, what is one change you're going to make and go back and execute? One change. One change you're going to make and go back and execute. Now, here's the next part of this. Find someone to hold you accountable. Oftentimes, like, yeah, I'm going to do all these changes, but there's no accountability. Who is going to hold you accountable? Make that change and tell someone about it and say, I want you to hold me accountable. I don't know what that change is, but make that change. Then have someone hold you accountable weekly. Remember this right here? This changed the family vacation forever, didn't it? Because kids would get in the car and it's like, I'll talk to you in Ohio. Changed it up, didn't it? Then we changed again. And we kept changing. One of my favorite parts in the movie is Steve Jobs. How many of you have seen that Apple movie with Steve Jobs in it? Apple movie? There's a line in there that I thought was powerful. He's talking to his daughter in the parking garage. And he says, honey, soon you'll have 1,000 songs, I believe. Soon you'll have 1,000 songs in your pocket. Soon you'll have 1,000 songs in your pocket. The iPod. It's change. Folks, I was in the airport. There's a song that came on, a little restaurant I was in. I loved it. Went to the app, Soundhound, because there's an app for everything. And I clicked the button. It identified the artist. I pushed the other button. 99 cents to purchase. It was on my phone, my MacBook, my Mac, my iPad. I went back at the office. How? No idea. The cloud. It's change. On my phone right now, there are thousands of songs I have in the cloud. Can you imagine if I went to the airport with 1,000 8-tracks? TSA would have a problem. Remember that right there? For a cell phone? It was like $80 a second. And that dang phone was so big, you almost needed a satellite dish to set it up. And then we changed again. The brick phone, called the Miami Vice phone. Then we changed again. And we kept changing. My dad still has his phone. I said, Pops, why don't you get a different one? He goes, because this one works. This one works. This right here changed the whole game, didn't it? How many used to have a BlackBerry? Raise your hand. How many still do? I was going to say, I hope not. It changed everything. But the problem with BlackBerry is this. BlackBerry got comfortable. Folks, as championship teams, you can't get comfortable. You must continually say, what can we learn? How can we progress? The moment you get cocky and arrogant and comfortable, you will be done. BlackBerry had all of us. I was out in Southern California speaking for USC. One of my best friends was the receivers coach at the time, so I went and spoke for their football team. But that morning in the LA Times, I'll never forget, there's a picture of a BlackBerry, and it says trouble. They've never recovered. Remember Kodak? Think about what I just said. Remember Kodak. Pat, do you ever think we'd be saying Kodak in the past tense? In 1996, Kodak was one of the largest employers in the country. Just 22 years ago. They don't exist today. Remember Circuit City. Remember Blockbuster. And I can go on and on and on. You see, folks, a gentleman, his name is Eric Hoffer. And Eric Hoffer was a futurist before we coined the term futurist. A brilliant writer. Eric Hoffer said this as it relates to change. He says, in the world today, there's two types of companies. You have the learners and you have the knowers. You have the learners and you have the knowers. He goes on to say, the learners will inherit the earth. The learners will inherit the earth. While the knowers will be beautifully equipped to function in a world that no longer exists. I would challenge you to take a picture of that quote and show everybody in your organization. Will you be a learner or will you be a knower? Think about that. What are some things you can keep learning through your enterprise? Keep learning. The moment you think you know it all, you also become BlackBerry. You become that Kodak. You become that Circuit City. You become that Blockbuster, and so on and so forth. You don't want your name to be a has-been. How can you keep learning? I think it's one of the most powerful, and that's why I committed it to memory. Because I remind myself of this all the time. And I call myself, my name's Aaron, but everybody calls me AD. And I'm always asking myself, AD, are you learning? Are you learning? The moment we think we know it all, we're in trouble. Championship teams continue to learn, and they are thirsty for wisdom. What's your one change? What's your one change? What is one thing that if you changed it, it'd have a huge impact? What is that one change for you? You know one change, folks, that I had to make, and this was on a personal level? How many have heard of Fanta pop? Or you might call it soda out here. Fanta. Fanta is a thing of beauty. I love grape Fanta. I love how it looks poured in the glass. I love how it sounds when the lid comes off. And you have that purple beauty just bubble out of there. But my problem was, folks, I was drinking a lot of Fanta. I'm talking like by noon, I'd have about 5 or 6 done. Some people drink a recovery drink after the gym. I would drink grape Fanta after the gym. And a lot of it. Well, this was about 6 years ago. I go to my dentist. And my dentist is one of my former teammates. And he says, AD, and he's looking at this x-ray, he's going, bruh, you got 7 cavities. I'm like, what? Because I don't eat a lot of candy. I like it, I just don't eat a lot of it. I'm eat pretty clean most of the time. He's like, how you got 7 cavities? He goes, do you drink pop? I said, huh? You know that first 2 days when I stopped drinking that pop, my hands were shaking? Because I was so accustomed to that caffeine. Now, I have a pop occasionally now, just not 6. And to each their own. But that change for me was good. What does that change for you? Think about it. Championship teams know their HPAs. They're high payoff activities. At Nebraska as a wide receiver during the 90s, we did not throw the ball hardly ever. We ran the ball 98% of the time, most games. As a wide receiver, we blocked a lot. There were 3 things we did every single day, our high payoff activities. We ran routes, we blocked, and we caught the football. We ran routes, we blocked, we caught the football. What are your HPAs? And does everyone know them? If you were to walk throughout your organization, through your team, could your team or can you identify what your high payoff activities are? Championship teams know their HPAs. They know what their route running is. They know what their blocking is. They know what their receiving is. I did those, folks, it didn't matter in Nebraska if it was 105 degrees in August with our equipment on or if it was 5 degrees in November. We ran routes, we blocked, and we caught the football. What are your HPAs? Champions know their high payoff activities. They don't have to guess, they don't have to assume, they don't have to wonder. They know their HPAs. What are yours? That looked like it hurt, didn't it? Picture Teddy Bridgewater. That's when he's in college. That still is one of the most vicious hits that I ever saw. And that's why I wanted to find the image because I watched that game. I mean, in fact, if he got hit like that today, that guy would be banned. He'd probably go to jail. That's crazy. That was a hit right there. How many have taken some hits this year so far already? Personally or professionally? Never feels good. You know, folks, when I was a scout team guy. I wasn't a superstar in Nebraska. I got beat up every day in practice by the first team. Every day. You know, when I get up still, hear all that cracking still, my knees. You're looking at me like, please don't do that anymore. My knees and everything. there were some hits. One in particular, I'm going across the middle, which a little guy like me is never a good idea to go across the middle. And I go up and grab this ball. Well, there was a guy behind me that played for about 10 years in the pros. His name was Mike Mentor. And he hit me like I stole something. I slid across the turf. The wind was knocked out of me. And he goes, AD, you good? And I'm trying to get up. But I didn't realize when I got up, a piece of my skin was still on the turf. Folks, I have a turf burn. Huge, you can't see it, it's a black spot. My whole body's a black spot, but you get where I'm coming from. It's a black spot. I get up, and a piece of my skin is still on that turf. And I look down at my stomach, and I got a weak stomach. My stomach got loose because then my leg just started, that part got white because so much of that skin was gone. Within 30 minutes, there was a lymph node that formed up in my groin because that much skin was exposed. You know, it's your body's alerting you there's an infection that's going to take place if you don't take care of this. I go in the shower, and I'm showering like this, my leg out with a towel around it, and I throw in my sweats. I try to get out of there as quick as I can, but my leg is bleeding through this towel so bad and through my sweats. My trainer says, AD, get back here, I need to take care of that. I'm like, no, man, I'm good. He goes, AD, get it back here. Because you know what, folks? I knew it was going to happen. He puts me on this table. He grabs all these towels. I said, what are those for? Then he grabs the Neosporin. I'm like, what's that for? He grabs these tweezers. I said, what's that for? And then he grabbed the brown bottle. You know what the brown bottle is. And it wasn't scotch. He starts, first he's dabbing on this thing. And I ain't talking about dabbing, I'm talking about dabbing. And he gets that hot rag and he wipes around and he grabs those tweezers and starts picking some of those pieces of turf out of my calf. And I'm sitting there biting this towel as hard as I could. And then he grabbed the brown bottle. It was like slow motion. Oh, I'm just going, no. He puts that stuff on my leg and I'm biting this towel as hard as I could. I didn't sleep for about 3 nights. Barely could sleep because it just burned and it hurt so bad. It was equivalent to literally putting your hand on a burning stove. Because this turf, it just tore it. Just burned it right off my leg. But you know, folks, in about a week and a half, I was able to make some cuts again and plan on it. Now it's just a scar. See, folks, as I close this out with today afternoon, you're going to have some scars. Sometimes they're business scars, sometimes they're life scars. But you're going to take some hits. It's a picture of my oldest brother, Miles. Looks like the Black Gilligan, doesn't he, with that hat? Miles was a freak of nature athlete. The guy was you can't even tell from me sitting back, but his arms were huge. He was 46 in this picture, and even at 46, he didn't have a 6-pack. The guy had an 8-pack. Massive calves from riding his bike, you know. April 6, 2009, I took a hit because I was in my office, and my assistant comes in. She goes, AD, Brooks on the phone. Who's my wife? She goes, I think you need to get this call. So I get on the phone, and I said, babe, what's up? She goes, and she's crying profusely. I said, babe, what's wrong? She goes, Butchie was killed this morning. His name is Miles Davis, but we called him Butchie. He was on his way to work on his bike. He was an avid cyclist. He was riding his bike, 5:30 in the morning. A particular person did not see my brother, hit him, and by 5:50 that morning, my brother was dead. It was a major hit. He was the oldest. I'm the baby. My brother was like my idol as a kid. It's 12 and a half year gap between us. One of the hardest walks I had to make, folks, was the one I walked with carrying my brother's casket. You're going to take some hits. And it seems like the hits kept coming. How many of you have had some days or some years or some months where you just felt like, okay, at any time this can all stop? The biggest hit I've taken so far, folks, was when I lost my mom. And I lost my mom totally unexpectedly in 2014. And I keep my mom's picture as my screensaver on my phone for perspective and to remind me what's really important. You see, folks, my mom passed away on September 18th, but you know what? On September 16th, my mom called me. But we had people, business people in town. We had a few clients in town. I was doing sales. I had all these things going on because, I was busy. We get busy. I had emails to return. I had meetings to go. Man, we were raising funds at that time for our company. Man, I was busy. So the 17th comes around. I was like, I'll call mom today. But folks, I got busy again. Yeah, I had calls and emails and we're trying to raise money. So I was busy. I said, I'll call mom tomorrow on the 18th because the evening of the 18th, I was going to be driving down to Wichita for a presentation I had on the 19th. So I'll call mom from the road. At 3:30, I'm walking off the 6th hole at the golf course. I look at my phone, there's like 10 missed calls from my dad. Thinking that's odd. And I check my voicemail. And he says, baby boy, get to St. Elizabeth Hospital as quick as you can. Mom's not doing well. So now I'm frantically trying to call my dad back. Think of something that really only took 5 minutes. Murphy felt like it was like 5 hours to reach him. Called my dad. And he said, baby boy, mom went to be with the Lord. She's dead. My life, folks, went to a downward spiral immediately. That was the ultimate hit for me. Because you know what, folks? I had the time to call her. I chose commerce over family. I chose commerce over conscience. I chose business. And folks, you're looking at a man, as I told you when I started out, I am the warning, not the example. If you constantly put work over your family, over yourself, over your own self-care, over your own, I promise you folks, you will pay for it. I'm the warning. I'm the warning. I put business over my mom. I put business over a lot of things. In fact, I remember my wife, I was coming home from a trip and I was tired. This is a number of years ago. And I finally got this thing, but it took me so long to get it. I had to take a lot of losses before I understood the importance of it. I walked into the room and was taking off my tie and was in the bathroom, and there's a big mirror in our bathroom. You can see into the bedroom. My wife sits up in bed and she was asking me how the trip was. And she finally just said this. She goes, you know what? Aaron, I don't know you anymore. I don't know you. I just keep brushing my teeth. I'm thinking, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. And then she gets more adamant. She goes, I don't know you. She goes, Aaron, your business is your life. Your business comes first. You've made that very apparent a number of times. You choose business over family all the time. I don't know you. You know what I felt like saying? Don't talk to strangers. But I was like, I ain't trying to get killed tonight. Finally, she set me off. She goes, I tell you what, how about I just put an appointment in your phone because that's what you respond to. Oh, now I'm pissed. I was like, what are you complaining about? I said, you don't even work. Ooh. Hey, doesn't it feel good when you're mad at saying, like, yeah, no. So that night in the garage, I ain't joking either, man. And people say this, oh, never go to bed angry. I said, well, it's better than to wake up dead. I was like, I ain't going to lay next to that lady after saying that. She made me hang out with my sister. She's like, you take that brother out. It's like, no. But what she was saying was the truth. Folks, I encourage you that as you go home, you slow down. Your new project, your startup, your company. Take some time for yourself to rejuvenate, refuel, and refocus, because life is going to hit you. Folks, I just put a post up yesterday. And after the loss of my mom, I was very stressed out. My blood pressure was off the charts. Was not taking care of my body. And folks, I'm gonna be very transparent. I don't mind a cocktail, but you don't need 20 of them. I had to realize that my peace in the closure was not gonna come from a bottle either. I was in bad shape. And I was sitting on a flight from Omaha to Atlanta, Atlanta, LA, and I was awakened by the stewardess and a doctor who happened to be on board. My shirt was soaked in sweat, and I was slumped over. I didn't even realize that. We get to the ER in Atlanta, and the doctor says, Mr. Davis, you will not see 43 if you continue on this path. And mine was not the path to agility, I promise you that. I was in bad shape. Depression and grief is real. Yeah, here's your motivational speaker that's talking about depression. I was in a dark, dark place. If you don't take time to take care of you, if you don't take time to take care of you, life will make you stop. And that, friends, is a promise. I want you to refuel, rejuvenate, and refocus. Sometimes, folks, you know, like when something's not working with maybe the software product, you have all these alerts, it's just not working. Well, I tell you what, many times we have the same dash warnings in our life, our dashboards in our life. There's lights that are lighting up saying, you know what, you better slow down. But yet there's times I've ignored them. If you're driving this conference, try driving home if that thing says empty. Try it. Not going to work. But yet, from a business standpoint, we find ourselves still doing that at times. Maybe you don't, but I've been guilty before. I have all of these lights lighting up on my emotional and personal dashboard, but I just keep going metal to the pedal. And then wonder why that I'm on the side of life, along the road, broken, beat up, and beat down. Folks, I want you to excel. I want your path to be an amazing one. But you must take care of yourself as well. Take the time for you to refuel, to rejuvenate, refocus. I don't know, maybe it's just, remember you're driving home from work, you just put the phone aside, which it should be aside anyway. Listen to some music. I don't know what your time is. Maybe it's at the gym, maybe it's a glass of wine, maybe it's in the garden, maybe it's for a run, maybe it's on a bike. I don't know what your time is, but if you don't take time for yourself to rejuvenate, refuel, and refocus, it's not if you burn out, it's when and how bad. I'm the warning, not the example. Folks, the business was doing awesome, but I wasn't. It about cost me my marriage and my sanity. Take some time for yourself to rejuvenate, refuel, and refocus. Don't have to take somebody to the grave before you realize you messed up. I do a lot of this now, golfing. That guy right there, it's kind of hard to see, but that's Larry the Cable Guy. And I don't call him Larry the Cable Guy, I call him Whitty. His name is Dan Whitney, is his real name, but he's from Nebraska. Told you, me and Murphy got good roots in Nebraska, man. But that's my golf buddy. And I wear crazy golf pants to distract the opponent. Because with a 13 handicap, I need all the help I can get, all right? I'm pretty much a bogey golfer, but you know what, folks? I love going out to play. I'm going to enjoy Saturday morning playing with my boys, my two sons. The graduation party is Saturday evening. Keenan graduates Sunday night. But I can't wait to go golf with my sons on Saturday. Folks, I've learned at 44 years old that I'm only going to be here for a minute. You think about it. At 44, if we look at stats, it's not a morbid thing, it's just a reality thing. I've lived half my life. And I know tomorrow's not promised to me. I'm going to enjoy that this weekend. And I'm kind of an emotional guy. When my son walks across that stage, Murph, I'm going to be in tears, man. Because I still see this little kid with the cheeks that you saw in that picture. I will be in tears on Sunday when I watch that man who's not a young man, not a boy anymore. He's a young man. But that's still my baby boy. Folks, capture those moments. What I'd like you to do, take a picture of that. I'd like to send you something for free. Not sell you the thing, just send you something. If you text the word attitude to that number, so if you text 444-999, text that number, 444-999, or take a picture of it, and text the word attitude to 444-999, you will get the first 3 chapters of the book for free. And actually, in about a month and a half, I'm going to send you another one that's completely free that I just wrote that's coming out on customer service regarding my father. It's called Wisdom from the Man with the Mop. Wisdom from the Man with the Mop. Lessons I've learned from my dad as this custodian. And folks, my dad has taught me a lot. That's why even to this day, I treat the janitor the same way I do the CEO. The CEO is just like the janitor. Even at the hotel, I never leave my hotel rooms a wreck because I realized I was one of those who cleaned them up. But my dad taught me a lot, and I've explained a lot of those in that book, but it's called Wisdom from the Man with the Mop. But I'd like you to keep in touch. Once a week, I send out a short. It's called 60 Seconds with Aaron. It's a video. It's not 6 hours with Aaron. 60 seconds. It's a sound bite. But it deals with personal, professional development, things on attitude, things for our sales, for things as far as teamwork. But I send that out once a week. Notice I said once a week, not once an hour. That's called stalking you, all right? Because me and you both have been on those newsletter lists we've signed up for, and the person sends us like 3 a day. It's like, look, dude, I don't like you that much, all right? So if you like I said, send that the word attitude, the 444-999, and it's attitude. But I would love to keep in touch with you. Visit your other organizations if possible as well. But if our paths never cross again, folks, I want you to slow down, to rejuvenate, to refuel, and to refocus. You can't be a championship team on empty. It's impossible. I'm the warning, not the example. Folks, safe travels home, and I wish you the best on your continued path. God bless you.